my feed, maybe because of the people that are my Facebook friends, the fact that Facebook and all these social media do listen. So there's a bunch of stuff in my feed that talks about becoming this and becoming that. A lot of coaches are always talking about becoming and helping you become. Okay. I wouldn't say it's not necessarily impossible, but I want to challenge that, because you cannot become what you aren't intrinsically. It's just not possible. There has got to be for someone to say they're going to become anything, intrinsically they had to be that thing in the first place. So money, for example, does not change people, it reveals them. If you were always greedy, more money, you're just more greedy. If you're always generous, more money, you're just more generous. These things don't change you, they reveal you. If you are a diamond in the rough and you get cut and polished, it reveals that you're a diamond. Now, when you see an apple seed, you may not see the apple, but the apple seed can only become an apple. It cannot suddenly become a grape. Now, undeveloped, unnurtured, that apple seed may never ever become an apple tree with other apples. But an apple seed can never become a plum tree. It's just not possible. So when people talk about helping you become anything, make sure that intrinsically you have that in you. Now, there is a way that you can absolutely change, but it is not possible as far as I'm concerned in the secular experience. 2 Corinthians 5:17 talks about us becoming a new creation in Christ, and it talks about the old things have passed away. And I am truly of the opinion that when we become Christians, there is an absolute change that science is not able to prove yet, but I believe there is a change that is real, a real change that is beyond just our behavior. I truly believe that, because the Bible talks about old wine in new skins. It can't happen. So it's going to put new wine in new skins. So while science will have to catch up to that, I believe the Bible to what it says. But that is the only way change can happen, okay, as far as I'm concerned. I'm no theologian, but I'm sticking to that. That's my position. I'm sticking to it. Now, there are fakes out there. So the Bible talks about the wolf in sheep's clothing in Matthew 7:15. Now, a lot of times that is used in reference to false prophets, fake teachers, and there are a lot of them out there. But there are a lot of people who are parading around as something that they are not. And I think that when the gurus and all these people talk about helping you become, there is a way for us to act as if. We all know our favorite actors, and they can become very believable at times. That's one of the things that makes a good actor great. That's one of the reasons why I love Denzel, because when he steps into a role, he makes that role very believable. But you better believe that when he's done with that role, he goes back to being Denzel. So that it is possible for someone to pretend as if for a period of time. But if you hang around that person long enough, they will show you their real colors. So there's also in Matthew 13, in the whole section 24-30, where it talks about the wheat and the tares. The wheat and the tares are types of grasses that look identical until it is time for harvest. And then you will be able to tell, because as much as they look similar, and these are all the people who are wannabe Christians pretending to go to church, all this stuff, but they really aren't there. There's no fruit. The Bible tells us that by their fruit we will know them. So don't worry about how they look. Don't worry about how they dress. Don't worry about what they say. Look for the fruit. And sometimes you have to hang around long enough to see if that's actually going to happen, because It does take a while for an apple seed to show that it is, when a tree is coming up, that it is actually an apple tree, or the wheat is actually wheat and not tare. So sometimes it's hard to tell just by, meeting a person really quickly, which is why, guys, I strongly discourage you from marrying someone that you've just quickly met. You really do need to hang around them in different experiences to see their true colors. And don't, forgive them if they have one bad day. Look for the consistency, okay? Look for the consistency. So I really wanted to challenge this concept of becoming. We can't really become anything than what we are intrinsically. In the right environment, we can thrive and and show ourselves to be the most amazing version of our true self. And in the wrong environment, we can shrivel up and not show ourselves to be the most amazing version of our true selves. But at the end of the day, we are what we are. And, God in his wisdom not only painted an amazing creative brush, making us all look different. It's so amazing to me that humans across the globe have 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, a body, 2 hands, and yet we look so very different. Even if we have a doppelganger, and even if you have an identical twin, there is going to be a difference. We're all very, very different. And the body is made up of many parts. And some of us have, what seems to be a minor part. Some of us seems to have a major part. But we're all very, very vital. I've talked about this before. If you are the 4th toe on the right foot in the body, and you think you have no value, well, let that 4th toe on the right foot go missing, and you'll see not only is the gap absolutely obvious, but the gait, the ability to walk smoothly is going to be interrupted. So don't think that your role is not important, but you cannot, if you are the 4th toe on the right foot, suddenly become the heir. It's not possible. So listen carefully to these coaches, these gurus, these mentors that you take on. Please look for the thing that you aspire to be in them. They need to have already demonstrated it. I posted something earlier today about that, and it had to do with taking the log out of someone else's eye. We can see clearly to help that person if we have already removed the log from our own eye. But don't think that you can follow a coach, a mentor, a guide who themselves are just pointing out all your deficiencies, and they themselves have not cleared the log from their own eye. The Bible talks about blind guides. These blind guides can only take you one place, and that's off the cliff. But a guide who has cleared their eye, has had an experience that they have overcome and thrived and succeeded in, and they have walked a journey that mirrors the one that you ascribe to, that you aspire for, that looks like where God is taking you. That is the coach, the guide, the mentor for you, because they can show you, because they have been there. Guys, let me tell you something. This is why there are so many coaches, so many guides, so many mentors, because we are all different and we cannot all follow the same person, even if they are basically appearing to do a similar thing, but they're going to come at it from a different perspective. I promise you, if you are taking baby steps, you really only need somebody who's a step or two ahead of you. They don't need to be all the way up there. And I'm just telling you that because sometimes the person that is going to be the one you can most resonate with is not the top guru that you have to pay millions of dollars to. It could just be your friend who is just one class ahead of you, one step ahead of you. In fact, in my coaching career, I've often more seen myself as a tutor than a coach, simply because I'm still in the learning process. And there are people that I help that are ahead of me in one area, but are behind me in another. And by the same token, I can follow them because they're ahead of me in another area and I'm behind them in that area. We each have our own expertise, our own domain, our own dominion, if you will, or space that God has called us to be the king and queen of our little space. You know, I like this example, and I don't want to make this video go too long, but if I go into a room where there are children and I say, come on kids, let's go, only my children are going to follow me. They resonate with my voice. The sheep, the shepherd, the sheep hear his voice. And there are going to be many shepherds. There are many shepherds because pastors are often referred to as shepherds. And Jesus told Peter to feed his sheep. Peter was a shepherd. And it talks about the good shepherd and all these other shepherds and so forth. So, you know, the person, the coach you're looking for does not have to be the top dog guru in a space. Maybe the person you're looking for is simply someone who's just one step ahead of you. If you're in school and, you know, the kid in your class who's really gotten the subject, the subject matter, the topic of the moment, they're sometimes the best help for the student sitting next to them. They don't always resonate with the teacher, but 3 students sit in a class with the same teacher and one student gets it, the other 2 don't quite get it, but that kid in their class who's sitting with them, one of their peers, who's just one step ahead of them, is the best voice that they resonate with. So I just wanted to share that with you because there's just so many coaches out there. So many people are often saying, I need a coach and I need a coach in this area, and I see recommendations, and that's great. But guys, when you evaluate who you're going to follow, make sure you're not following a blind guide. Make sure you're not following someone who has a log in their eye. Make sure you're not following someone who's just tares but not actually wheat. They have no fruit to show for all their talk and all their good looks. I beg of you guys, I beg of you. So I guess part of the trigger for this is I'm helping someone put their finances in order. I don't do it for you. I don't do it for you. But I help you to do it for yourself. I believe there is a lot of value in doing it for yourself. I will help you, but I will not do it for you. I'm not a done for you financial person. It's not going to happen. You got to fix your own mess. However, I'm happy to throw some manure, throw some water, give some encouragement, make sure, help with the environment and all that. But you've got to do the growing all by yourself. You've got to do the growing all by yourself. And if you're reaching out to me for coaching, I hear you. That's great. I can't do it right now for anybody. I am in school. I have a business to run. I can't really take on any clients right now. So I'm just throwing it out there. There is a coach for you. It won't be me, not right now. But I just wanted to just lay that groundwork for a bunch of you who I see reaching out, looking for help. And probably thinking you need to go with these big shot gurus who can help you, but maybe you're just not ready for them yet. Maybe you just need to find that friend who is just one, or that lower level coach who's just that one step ahead of you. Guys, last thing, there's a reason why there are many coaches. If you think of even the kid who is in Little League, and they'll have a coach for Little League. Then they go on to high school. They'll have a high school football coach, for example. Then they go on to college. They'll have a college level coach. Then they go on to the professionals, and they'll have a professional level coach. And then sometimes that coach becomes a coach themselves. That player becomes a coach themselves. And they have taken the log out of their own eye. They've had experience after graduated experience, and they have walked the walk, and they have lived the experience, and they know the journey, and they've succeeded, and they can help you. Look for that coach. Trudy here. I love you all. Super simple to find. Be safe, and really grow into the best version of yourself. Seek help if you need it.